This is Spotlight Omaha. Spotlight Omaha is a local podcast that highlights local businesses and influential movers and shakers in the Omaha business community. Spotlight Omaha is brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing. Now, from the Pyramid Contractor Studios, the host of Spotlight Omaha, Jimmy Allen.
A view in Fonthill Hills down in Bellevue. That was our original location. A view on State on 134th and State Street. And then our newest location, a view West Shores on 243rd and Dodge. That location can host about 900 people. So really our biggest market is hosting nonprofit events, galas, fundraisers, which helps the community by raising funds for their events, but also makes their life easier because we provide a very stress-free process for those events.
We had a little bit of a glitch, so people missed what I said, who you're with and who you are. I'm sorry. So this is Britney McLaughlin with the View Venues, and that's what they do. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened with our screen there, but we're back. When we talk about event planning, this feels like a really big city in particular.
It is.
For not just weddings, but other events and big-time corporate parties and things like that. How much would you guys say your business is based on hosting weddings versus miscellaneous other events?
Yeah, that's a great question. I feel like we're really unique in that aspect is we do about half of our events in the corporate social setting, where the other half in the wedding setting, where most other venues in the area are a little bit too small to do about that half and half market. So the fact that we're a small, locally owned family business in the area that can host 900 people.
Are most people surprised to learn that you guys are a family-owned business?
Yes, okay, very surprised, especially because I feel like with the 3 locations and the number of events that we do, people feel like we're corporate. People feel like...
I've been to at least 50 of your guys' events, and I just assumed. I just learned that myself.
Yeah, actually, Brandy and Steve Goldapp were the owners up until this past year. So I took over, my husband and I took over on January 1st of this year. I'm born and raised from Omaha. They're from Sioux City, Sioux Falls area. So very locally owned, very family business. So our internal operations is focused around making our employees feel like they have ownership and a say in what we do versus just that corporate setting. One
thing we talk about in this room a ton is with franchise owners that take over something that somebody else has created. And how big of a deal was it for you to take over a family-owned business and keep it a family-owned business?
Yeah, that was huge. I have been working at A View since April of 2014, so almost 11 years in a couple weeks now.
Right.
So it was really important for me to, one, keep that dynamic. I know a sale of a business is really scary for a lot of people.
For sure.
Including our clients. And so it was really important for me to keep that transition very easy. Same with the prior owner. She's amazing. She's still very hands-on and anything that I need help with. So
that's incredible.
It's a great transition, but also we want our clients to feel comfortable and happy and that there isn't any major changes like you see in other.
Let's talk about the client experience for a second, because you guys help with setup, you guys help with tear down, you guys help them find vendors, things like that. How difficult is it for you guys as a business to work with several other vendors, but also have the trump card of, hey, but we've got all these different options for our clients to have? Is that kind of the plan and the theory around it?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are really important to have client vendor relationships. We work really hard to keep our vendor partnerships sound and, they're having a great experience for their couples as well. But we do like to offer a unique full service experience. So it is a little bit easier to come to us and say, okay, this is what I need. This is what I'm looking for without having to, like to say, reinvent the wheel and create your own event without any support. That's something that you don't see in a lot of venues here in Omaha. They're not as hands-on as we are. We have a lot of inventory in-house, so you can come in and customize ceiling decor packages and backdrops without having to go find other vendors. But at the same time, we don't have everything, so we like to keep those relationships with people that we can refer to as well.
I don't mean to take a shot at brides here, but how like I think a lot of people probably come in and say, no, I want my own this, I want my own that. Yes. And some people are probably like, oh, huzzah, here's everything I need. Is that a difficult kind of path to toe in those conversations where you want to be as supportive as possible, you know how great your vendors are, but also bridezillas exist, right? Like, so it's kind of a double-edged sword. It
is a little bit of a double-edged sword, but I think we do a great job at marketing to the clientele of who knows the value of what we provide in our services versus coming in and just knowing that it's a blank canvas. So our team is also great at being able to help create different visions between the 3 locations. Fontenelle Hills is a little bit more rustic.
Sure.
State is a little bit more industrial, and West Shores is a little bit more luxury on the lake. We consider
modern.
Modern.
Yeah.
Exactly. So our sales team will take them to all 3 locations and find the fit that feels the best for them, that then they can customize from there, but also give support in terms of, if you do have a friender that wants to come in, they're great because we know, you can get a good deal from them. And if that area is maybe
might be a way for you guys to make a relationship.
Exactly.
As well.
Yeah. We always like meeting new people. You never know what is out there until you have other people come in. And that's also what's a great experience for us and for our clients and for other vendors as well.
I want to ask about the different locations because on its face, that would seem like you're kind of doing business against yourself at times.
At times.
Does it come down to that, or is it as simple as, hey, you can go with venue X over here, or you can look at our 3 different options and we can find which one fits you best?
A little bit of both, actually. Sure. So I would say about half of our clientele looks at all 3 locations, or at least 2 of the 3.
Do you always recommend that?
I do, yeah, because it's if you are liking both or all 3 of them, and you decide you just want to see one, you don't want to have that little bit of regret at the end too. Like, okay.
Or your friend gets married at View Fontenelle and it's like, why didn't we get that option? Yeah.
Exactly. So I'd rather you look at all of the options and then help us decide, based off of your style and vision, show us your Pinterest board, show us what you're looking for.
Sure.
And then we can help you fit that. But at the same time, yes, we do want you to look at other venues because this is the first part of the planning process on the bride side.
Yeah.
And they don't really know what they're looking for, and so we're here to help,
because most people only do this once.
Exactly. And I always like to say to our staff, you do got to treat them like kindergartners a little bit. You got to walk them through the process and not just assume that they know what they're looking for.
That's such an interesting discussion though, because whether it be like an HVAC company or I don't know, like somebody that works with terms like that's unique to the industry, a lot of people say it's very hard for them to kind of put things in layman's terms because they're so used to talking to people in the industry. Is that something that when we're talking about hosting venues or hosting events at venues, you guys struggle with as well?
We do, yes. Even just the term flip, which is a really, I think a common term. People don't understand what that means. Yeah. And so when we're talking about clients that don't understand maybe why they can't come in early one day, it's like we are flipping the venue from a Friday to a Saturday event on many occasions where
I'm not the only person that's ever rented out this venue?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we want to accommodate them as best as we can, but also know that we do have expectations of our staff. And if we just, bend those rules a little bit here and there, that means we aren't providing that second client with the best experience either, because it takes us time to clean, it takes us time to reset, get everything ready for your event to be set up for success.
What is, and this may go into a policy that you guys have, what is like the biggest length that you guys rent the venues out for? Is it only 24 hours? How does that work?
That's a great question. Our wedding contracts start at noon on the day of and go until midnight on the day of. So just a 12-hour period. They can rent for an additional cost the space the day before. It's looking like essentially a 2-day rental. So it's not cost effective on that side. So we do see, but at the same time, we do a lot of everything for you. When you come in at noon, your tables are set, your linens are out, your china's out, your sashes are on. So you're really just taking on a wedding side, the centerpiece, and putting it on a table.
Right.
And that's it. And that's what florists
shouldn't
are
take
great
12
for.
Hours. Yeah.
No, shouldn't take 12 hours. Shouldn't even take more than 2 hours, really. But that's why florists are amazing to work with. There is vendors that do set up for day of. So there's a lot of options there that I think it's a kind of more of a scarier thing that we can't get in until noon, when it's in reality, we do so much for you already.
Yeah.
Other venues that you have to hire a team to come in and rent tables and rent linens and rent china, that's about a 7-hour process. So for us,
minimum,
at minimum,
yeah.
we, on events that are on Friday, we start on Monday working all week to get that space ready. So when we have a Friday to a Saturday, we've got that midnight to noon time frame to complete everything we just did in 5 days.
We're catching up with Britney McLaughlin here of A View Venues on the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing and Pyramid Contractors. I want to talk about the other part. We spent a lot of time talking about weddings. Yes. That's a lot of what you guys do, but I want to talk about the corporate rental space. How many, how often are you guys having repeat every year type events like that? Is that something that you guys have seen?
Absolutely. I've been doing this for about 11 years now, and I've got clients of mine. I primarily do corporate, so I very rarely deal with brides. I've got a team of 6 girls that do all of the weddings. So
that feels intentional.
Yeah. I did my time back in the day.
Sure.
But corporate events I really love because we can build that rapport. So I've got clients that have been mine for 9 years or so now, which we have a great relationship with them. We make it easy because they can just go on repeat, same that we did last year.
Yeah.
Let's tweak a little things that here and there.
Are those mainly being done at the 204th Street location, or is that?
I would say we're pretty 50-50 between our View West Shores and a View on State. So a lot of our corporate clients actually like to switch back and forth between the two. Sure. A View on State can hold about 800 guests. And they're two very different styles, more industrial modern versus the lake modern glam.
And how many people can a View West Shores hold?
I like to say comfortably 900, 950.
So that's the biggest one.
Yep, that's our biggest one. But a lot of our events will switch back and forth. So 1 year at a View on State, 1 year at a View West Shores. Our pricing and our structure is very similar. Our catering partners are very similar. AV, very similar. It's just the buildings are different.
Right,
so it makes planning for them.
It's a different view.
Exactly. Yeah. It makes planning for them a lot easier.
Sure. If somebody is listening to this that is a business owner and they need somewhere to host a corporate event, what can they expect if they're coming to your website and going through the process? Absolutely.
So our corporate side, we do more of a per person pricing package that actually partners with 2 local caterers right now, Hy-Vee on 156th and Maple, and a cater to
Who
Fair.
Have everything. Yeah.
Yes, they have everything. So price points very fluctuate on what you can fit in your budget. So between a day event, buffet, plated meal, heavy appetizers, we literally can do anything. Our caterers can do anything. And then we take that and food and venue into one price per person. So it's very easy, especially if you're selling a ticketed event.
Good point.
To know how much your costs are. Yeah. Hard versus here's a flat venue rate and
sure.
Trying to
you
figure
have to figure out the price now.
Yeah. So that's what they can expect from us. Very easy. We have a team of 2 on our corporate side, myself and Amy, and we'll meet with you in person, email, phone, Zoom, whatever works best for you, because we know corporate events, your staff is busy. Right. Planning your event is not your primary
hosting
job.
800 to 900 people, yeah, sure.
Exactly. So we want to make it very easy on you to have a great event, and you focus on getting your attendees there, fundraising, grabbing silent auction items, things like that, but we'll take care of all the hard stuff.
Flip side of that, what's the smallest event you guys have hosted?
I want to say it's 12.
Wow. Were you surprised?
No. Okay. I like to do those in the off season, and there isn't really an off season.
Is that like November, I would assume?
Actually, not even anymore.
Wow.
Nebraska weddings go well into November.
I guess football season's ending, so that kind of makes sense.
Yes. I want to say January, February, March are the 3 slowest times of the year.
Sure. No wonder you're doing podcasts today.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to talk about the other side of that equation, because you mentioned the 2 food vendors that you have. Mm-hmm. If somebody's looking to get into the space and maybe become a vendor, what does that conversation look and sound like?
Absolutely.
I have to imagine it's a little more difficult than renting it, right?
It is, yes. I am very picky on who we work with, because I want them to have the similar values and morals that our company has. I want them to provide amazing service just like we do for our couples and our clients. So it's something that I would prefer to meet with them in person, or if it's a wedding related client, our wedding team would love to meet with them in person, know about their business, go from there on a conversation.
You have 3 great venues. You have some options, some of them. What does growth look like? Would you guys like to expand to another venue? Do you want to expand on the venues you already have? What does that look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. Something I've been thinking about a lot lately. I don't know if we would expand to another venue in this market.
Good point.
Just because the market is I think perfectly capped the way it is.
Sure.
We have a great reputation and a great idea, but coming in with another one, I don't know if that seems like the right fit. We definitely have room to grow on our calendar. There's weekends and weekday events that we're not full. And so, yeah, we would love to see more events coming in on our current 3 locations.
You said in this market, is that something you've thought about, maybe doing something in a Des Moines or a Sioux City, a Kansas City, something like that?
I mean, the idea has crossed my mind, but that is far down the road.
when you see the explosion in housing in Gretna and Elkhorn, the Renaissance going into South and North Omaha, and Midtown's kind of having a comeback as well, are you guys seeing that at a View as well, that there seems to be an uptick in maybe people that aren't from Omaha that have recently moved here kind of looking for space and things like that?
Yes, especially at West Shores. A lot of our clients love that it's not in Omaha and it's not in Lincoln. It is in Waterloo. So it kind of checks that box of not being market specific for those corporations that have to do their due diligence of meeting their needs for both cities.
Or maybe one that has a location in Omaha and Lincoln, then you could pick an alternate neutral site.
That's been really popular for us, and it's really easy to get to West Shores off the highway, off the interstate. Yeah. Same with a View on State, it's right off the interstate. So that has been a great opportunity for growth because it's easy to get to from Gretna anywhere you're coming from.
Yeah, and that's one of the luxuries of Omaha. Everything's about 15 minutes away or so,
exactly.
Right? What is your favorite event that you host every year, and why?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
You don't have to throw companies or anything out there. You just say, we do whatever, and this is why.
Yeah, honestly, my passion lies in the nonprofit fundraising events.
Very cool.
We've got about 6 or 7 new ones that we've never hosted before this year, and I just love to see their passion behind their mission and what they're fundraising for and how our services can come align and help them meet their goals.
That goes right into the, we just received a question on Twitter. Stephanie wants to know, what are you doing for nonprofits, and how do we go about booking a View for an event if you are a nonprofit?
That's a great question.
We could have Stephanie, thank you. We could have timed that up any better.
Our pricing is extremely competitive in the sense of it doesn't necessarily need any additional discounts for a nonprofit because we've priced ourselves into the part where it is attainable for any event, for profit or nonprofit. So we like to see here people, you can get donated products if that's something that is important to you. We've got 2 or 3 events now that have donated meats and that our caterer works to prepare, and that helps them save money on that aspect. So we're very willing to work with any group on what can accommodate their needs.
You mentioned it's a very capped market for event spaces in this city. What makes a View different, and why should people sign and book with you guys?
Absolutely. I think it's our customer service. Honestly, we have a team that's hands-on, ready to work with you all the time. This is our primary business. We're a hotel and our competition for corporate. That's their secondary business. So we are here to make sure this is an easy process for you, and we're there to answer all of your questions, but also we don't have to, talk to corporate America in their terms. Like, we have care and understand what your needs are and what your concerns are, and to be able to help work with you on that because we're a small family-owned business.
And we're catching up with Britney McLaughlin of A View Venues here on the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing and Pyramid Contractors. I want to talk about you for a second. You mentioned it. You started working for A View in 2014. You get the opportunity to purchase the company. Why was it the right time when it became available to make this purchase? Kind of go take what you did for a living and make it your livelihood.
Yeah, absolutely. I was fresh out of college when I started this job, 22 years old. Crazy that it
Major in hospitality?
No, actually, just marketing management.
Sure.
So I did quite a few internships. Actually did one, and I didn't think I would like events. It's kind of a funny story. So
you'd be amazed how often that sentence about what somebody's sitting here doing comes up.
Yeah, and then I saw this posting online, and I was like, you know what? That I've always wanted to do it. Let me just do it. We were small back then, only 2 locations, A View West and A View in Fontenelle Hills, so there was only a team of 2. But coming down as we continued to grow, opening A View on State, I just continued to be a leader in our company and help with the development and growth. That when it came to the opportunity of purchasing it was the right time.
Yeah. How supportive was your husband?
Very.
Okay.
Yes.
It's usually one or the other, by the way.
Yes.
It's either he was all in or I came home and told him we bought a company.
Yes, he's all in, and he's exciting, trying to figure out what his new role is in this world, because he has no experience in hospitality, never worked in a restaurant.
Just been very supportive up until this point.
Yeah, absolutely. My daughter loves coming to work, sitting at my desk. She says it's her desk.
Of course, yeah. It is now anyway. Yeah.
It is. So when it came time to purchase the company, it was just the right moment of we're ready to continue to grow, look at our wedding clientele's changing into that different generational gap. So figuring out what we need to continue to grow on that side. And so
can we put TikTok up on a projector and let them scroll through?
Yep, exactly.
Obviously being in the industry for 11 years, there was a pretty interesting point in history during that time. The pandemic happens.
Yes.
Walk us through that. What did that look like? And is there anything that you could take from that 2.5 years and turn it into a positive that you learned about the industry at that time?
Yeah. I learned that the industry was extremely strong and resilient.
Had you bought it yet?
No, just January of this year is when we took over. No, you're fine. I was still very involved in everything there. I've been the director forever. So the previous owner and I were really in tune with trying to figure out what to navigate through COVID. But the big thing is the industry is resilient. Where corporate business took a stall for years, and it slowly came back. But wedding and private events, those people are your friends, they're your family. Like
people are still getting married.
People are still getting married, and they feel comfortable being around their friends and family. Yeah. And that was still an easy conversation to have with them. And if you weren't comfortable, then we had that conversation.
Was there anything you guys didn't know about, like from a functionality standpoint, or maybe changed from a functionality standpoint during that time that you still use today?
Not as much, because we already had a lot of those practices in place. Our spacing, with the 6 feet apart, was very similar to what we had our tables and chairs set already. So it wasn't a lot of change that we had. We have a very diligent cleaning team in terms of sanitizing, cleaning everything through the space. So we didn't have to do a lot. But really, we had to learn how to talk to people in a different way. I think personalities and conversations changed post-COVID, and that has been the biggest learning and adapting curve for us. Is it's just not the same people we dealt with prior to COVID.
What's your favorite thing about what you get to do?
Meeting people. I love meeting with clients. I love building the rapport. Talking to people is my favorite thing, but also creating that need and helping them fill that need. The hug at the end of the event is still my by far favorite thing about my job.
Josh weighed in and said, my wife and I got married at a View on State Street on 10/22/22. It was a beautiful venue and great memories. So people are just kind of weighing in with their thoughts as well. Yeah, if I'm a bride or I'm a wedding party and I'm thinking about booking, what does that process look like? And can you take us through those steps?
Absolutely. So our website has all of our pricing brochures. Just put in your information to download our brochures, and they'll get emailed to you instantly. That's really important, because price is an important part of planning your wedding.
Absolutely.
You need to know your budget. You need to know what you're willing to spend. And comparing it to the other venues around here, we want you to see that pricing right away. From that, coming in and scheduling a tour with one of our wedding consultants. They're amazing. They're here to help you. That's about an hour of time that you'll spend with us, because we want to really get to know what your wedding vision is, not just show you, here's our space.
Where could people book at, and how do they get a hold of you?
Our website is aviewvenues.com. You also can find us on Instagram, Aview Venues. Both of those places can get us right to our website, or right to our team.
We've hit on a ton today. Is there anything about Aview Venues that we haven't mentioned that people should know about?
No, I think we really did hit a lot. So
that's Britney McLaughlin, the owner of Aview Venues, 3 great locations here in the Omaha area. If you have a corporate event coming up, or if your biggest day of your life is coming up and you're looking for somewhere to host your wedding, 3 great locations. Check out aviewvenues.com and book today and ask questions. Maybe come out and take a look at the locations. Thanks for doing this. Yeah. Thanks for being flexible. Yeah. We went an hour early today. Thank you to everybody that showed up, left comments. Don't forget, if you are watching on YouTube, to subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. if there is another blizzard somehow outside. Hopefully you can join us. Thanks for joining us here on the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing and Pyramid Contractors. We'll see you in the morning.